Live from Pan American Stadium in New Orleans, it is the LHSAA Division II quarterfinals. As this evening, the number 7 seed, the Teurlings Catholic Rebels, take on the number 2 seed, the Salle Cavaliers. Happy to have you here with us on Crescent City Sports, or if you're watching us on the LHSAA Live app, welcome as well. Lenny Van Gilder along with Wade Kaiser, Chip Merritt, our producer, Todd Whittington, bringing you all the pictures this evening on a warmer night. Hey, we're just settling into fall here, Wade. We had 3 straight Friday nights of some real football weather, and now we're a little bit warmer again here tonight, but I guess another front's coming through.
Well,
so, you know,
it's New Orleans and weather. I mean, wait 5 minutes, it's going to change.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. It'll be a little bit colder tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about this matchup. Salle comes in after a bye in the opening round. They were very nearly the number 1 seed. It was literally fractions of a point, really not less than that separated Salle and St. Thomas More. And STM got the number 1 seed, Salle the number 2 seed. Really got close there at the end when Salle picked up a week 1 forfeit over Warren Easton, a game that we had in Crescent City Sports and also on Cox Sports Television, week 1 of the season. So as you take a week off, you've coached teams that have had a bye before, and leading into the playoffs, how difficult is it for Ryan Manali to keep his guys focused and ready to go after that week off to come into tonight?
I never liked it. Okay, I was a creature of nature. I wanted to play each week, prep the same way each week, and be able to play on Friday night or Saturday here in the city. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge for any coach to manage not only the staff but also his kids, the time, making sure that all of the things are getting taken care of with treatments and all of that, but also to get in the amount of work that you need to do for an opponent who you don't even know who it's going to be until that next midway through your bye.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So it's going to be interesting to see tonight exactly how they come out and play right off the bat.
Now, on the other side, Teurlings had to play last week,
Correct.
Number 7 seed. They were at home. They beat Parkview Baptist 18-14 in the opening round of the Division II playoffs. Make the trip down I-10 here this evening. And we've seen this spot before. Actually, you sat there. Ken Berthelot sat next to you 4 years ago, quarterfinal game in Division II, and Teurlings came in. It was Salle was a 3 seed that year. Teurlings was a 6 seed, and Teurlings came in here and beat Salle to advance to the semifinals. That's the last time Teurlings has reached the semis. On the other hand, Salle since then has been to the semis in 16, to the finals, to the Dome in 17, where they lost to U-High, and then last year again to the semis. In 2018, they went on the road for the quarterfinals, the game we had here at Crescent City Sports. They beat Archbishop Hannon in a 4-5 game on the road, and then lost to U-High, a really good U-High team, of course, in the semifinals. So Salle looking for a 4th straight trip to the semifinals. But Teurlings, again, they've not had that bye, so they've got some continuity and have won 3 in a row. You look at this team, and the styles are a little bit different. Salle is a team that probably wants to run it a little bit more. Teurlings is a little more balanced out there, looking to get a lot of people involved in the offense.
Well, Teurlings does do that. They get a lot of their folks involved. They like the bubble screens out on the perimeter. They like the RPOs, in their offensive game. So they're going to spread it around a little bit. Doesn't mean that they're going to throw the ball deep down the field a lot, but they will spread it around, and they're going to attack Salle's defense on the parameters and in the seams and with the RPOs. So it's going to be interesting to see one team coming off the bye, one team that is tested from last week. And the first few minutes, I think, of this ball game is going to kind of set that tempo, and we'll know exactly which De La Salle team's showing up.
You see the coin toss happening at the center of the field right now. Our referee is Jeff Bryant from the Hammond Association. De La Salle won the toss and deferred, so it looks like Teurlings is going to get the football first this evening to begin our game. And interestingly, they're going to get the ball and they're going to get the wind.
And there's a nice south to north wind blowing here at Pan American Stadium. So we were out there prior to the game. There goes the fireworks.
And here come the Cavaliers.
Right. Kind of scared me a little bit right there. But watching the kickers from Teurlings before the game kicking with the wind, they were kicking it out of the stadium in the north end zone. So it's going to be interesting to see how much the kicking game is going to be affected tonight by the south wind.
Yeah, you've got some good kickers on both sides, and I mentioned during the countdown of the original just a few minutes ago over on Nash Icon 106.1 that the kicking game could play a big part in this one, especially when you got two teams. If it comes down to a close game and you've got two teams that really excel in the kicking game, that could be something to watch as we proceed through the evening. Both teams on the sideline getting ready for an opening prayer and our Star-Spangled Banner here from Pan American Stadium in New Orleans.
Let us remember that we are in God's holy presence. Dear Lord, we pray for the safety of all these Cavalier and Rebel athletes. Protect each of them from all injury and harm. Let them each play to the best of their God-given abilities. Please grant to these athletes, their coaches, and the officials, as well as us the fans, the strength to pursue excellence in sportsmanship during this athletic event and in our everyday lives. In this we ask you, our Heavenly Father, St. John Baptist de La Salle, live Jesus in our hearts. Amen.
De La Salle Cavalier Band with our national anthem from Pan American Stadium. It is week number 2 of the Louisiana High School football playoffs. When this night is over, Wade, we will have 40 teams on the non-select side, 16 teams on the select side, doing the thing that every high school coach in Louisiana loves to do, getting ready to practice on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, if you're practicing on Thanksgiving week, you are just that much closer to that state championship, and it's so exciting to practice during Thanksgiving. That's a lot of teams' goals, to be practicing during that Thanksgiving week, because you know it's right there within your sights of playing the state championship.
So the Cavaliers will kick it off. They are in their black jerseys with maroon numbers.
And that's rough.
For us and for you. Teurlings in the white jerseys, the navy blue numbers. And it'll be Yanni Helmke, the junior, kicking it off for De La Salle. Twin receivers deep at about the 5-yard line for Teurlings. And away we go on a Friday night in New Orleans. That kick, one hops, hits a couple of different receivers. De La Salle's got the football at about the 15-yard line. Went over the head of the second line. You had a hop come in, and it was fielded. Let's see who came up with it, Wade. That was unexpected for this one to start, and it looks like it may have been Jalen Ned, the senior, who's in his first year playing football after coming over from basketball.
They run the pooch kick or the sky kick right there to the wing on Teurlings' left side of their return team. The person up front should have been called off by the returner behind him. The returner behind him should have came up and gave me a me call. It's a me-you call. Me, you, and allow the returner behind him to catch that ball clean. And I think he kind of blocked his vision as the ball was coming down. Ball hits the ground. First down, De La Salle, threatening to score.
Yeah, Cavaliers going to start it in the red zone at the Teurlings 14-yard line.
Wildcat.
They're coming out in Wildcat, and this was looked like a little bit like what we saw Tulane run against Houston, and Teurlings would have nothing of it right there, as that was well defended. I think that was Paxton Martin that came up from his cornerback position and made the tackle right there, and that's going to be a big loss on first down.
Wraparound draw, hide play, whatever the terminology is with that. You're going to wrap the ball around. Every flow goes one way, running back goes the other way, and I believe that was Jaron Gilmore was running the hide play right there. It just didn't work. Great play by Teurlings coming off the edge and banging that up.
This is Montreal Johnson, who get a little bit of it back right here, but it's still going to be third and long. So call it third down and about 14 to go.
That's one of those plays that either it's going to work or it's not. There's no in between with that. It's either going to get banged up right from the beginning, or you're going to pop that thing for a long distance.
Yeah, look, we've seen a lot of De La Salle games over the last few years, Wade, as it's third down and 14. Now they'll throw the screen out this way, trying to get to the edge, and it'll be brought down short of the first down. It's going to be fourth down. That was Gilmore on the reception there. On the pass, we got the more conventional formation, and Milford throwing the pass out to Gilmore.
RPO, they counted the numbers out there on the flank. They had the numbers for the screen pass. So fakes the ball to the running back, shoot the two receivers in front of Gilmore, and Gilmore gets the ball and tries to break down the boundary. Just didn't get to the sticks.
Now Helmke from 29 yards to give De La Salle the early lead. On the way, it is good, and 90 seconds into this one, 91 in fact, it is De La Salle with a 3-0 lead after the 29-yard field goal by Helmke, set up by that wonderfully executed sky kick. But the point I was about to make, Wade, we've seen De La Salle plenty of times over the last few years. I don't know what it is, scripting of plays, or, the coaching that goes into it, whatever it is, De La Salle always seems to strike quickly offensively. I think they scored on the first offensive play week 1 against Easton. We've seen it plenty of times over the years where they scored maybe the first minute of the game. And again tonight, the opening kickoff, they make a big play happen. Can't get anything going offensively, but still come away with 3.
Well, the sky kick was something probably all week long. From breaking down the film of the opponent, they knew exactly where they were going to kick the ball, take a shot. It happened to get a bounce on it right there. The hideout play right there was probably scripted. That's something that they've had in their bag of tricks for all season now, so why not try to run it on first down and catch and use momentum and catch a team off guard.
This one more conventional. Take it back to the 5-yard line, and a scrum there that will fall forward out past the 20-yard line.
Our first look at Teurlings comes in averaging 31.4 points a game. They'll move the ball around. They'll spread it out. They'll get into the hands of their receivers. They like to hit the running backs out of the backfield in the flats. They like to run rail routes with the running backs up the boundary. They look for all the mismatches. They're talented on offense.
Averaging 335 yards a game, 127 on the ground, 208 through the air. Give you a little bit of an idea how they'll spread it out. Sammy LeBlanc, the quarterback, the senior. Play action. Will run that screen pass near side, and it is quickly bottled up. As that was Larkin Spring, the junior running back, on the catch. A gain of about 5 there, and brought down by Shamar Keelan, the junior linebacker. And they'll go with some tempo here. 2nd and 4 after the gain of 6. At least they'll line up that way, then look to the side and get their signals. Play action again. Broken up, and that was intended for Noah Fontenot, the tight end, who had a big game in the opening round last week.
That was Jalen Nett on the big hit on the seam route off of the fake right there. They're in 11 personnel, Teurlings is. They run the seam route with the inside receiver. Jalen Nett steps right up from his safety position and puts a lick on the receiver from Teurlings to dislodge the ball.
Flags before this one can get started, and it's going to be. Wait, they called that a catch.
Oh, he caught that?
They caught that.
Oh my goodness, it looked like it was dislodged.
I
It was
thought
first down.
I thought it was too, but the ball was at the 36. So 1st and 10 at the 36, and it's offsides against De La Salle, which will move it up to about the 41.
So 1st and 5.
From the 41. Little sweep. That's Spring trying to get to the outside and might get a couple on that one.
Spring's one of these type of running backs where he's elusive with his speed. Not a big guy, but what he does do is he kind of gives you a little bit, takes a little bit, and he spins out of things. He kind of reminds me of the running back in Carolina, number 22.
So we'll see Christian McCaffrey. We'll see a lot of him Sunday in the Dome.
Couldn't think of his name right off the bat, but that's the kind of running back Spring reminds me of. He's all of a sudden bottled up, and then he's going to pop out, and he'll go.
And they'll get him his touches in different ways. He had 822 yards rushing, 314 yards receiving. 2nd down, tried to run it up the gut that time, and a host of Cavaliers were waiting there. Ephraim Scott, the senior defensive lineman. He'll give him one. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
The inside zone game right there for Teurlings. They try to ram it up inside, getting a hat on everybody on that defensive line of De La Salle. Ephraim Scott just comes right off the block and makes a nice play at the line of scrimmage.
You see 2 receivers to the top of your screen. We've actually got, I believe, 2 tight ends in right now. Now a little motion here, and back up the gut. It's going to be close to a 1st down. Let's see what the spot is. Once again, it was Spring on the run.
It's going to be a close spot right there.
Come on, Eagle Eye, make the call up. It's going to be a 1st down. 1st and 10. So a couple of 1st downs on this opening drive for Teurlings. Trailing in this one 3-0.
De La Salle opening up in a 4-man line. You can see tonight differences with De La Salle. You'll see them in a 3-man line. You'll see them a 4-man line. It all depends on whether they're bringing in their nickel personnel or not.
Once again up the gut and only getting a couple of yards. So 4 running plays in a row here have only produced 7 yards. So it's 2nd down and 8.
The strength of this De La Salle defense are their linebackers. Those 3 guys in there, Robinson, Milford, and Colleen, have made the majority of the tackles this year for the Cavaliers. Those are the guys on the 2nd level that this Teurlings offensive line, if they want to run the ball consistently, are going to be able to have to get up to that 2nd level of linebackers.
Robinson, 2 in black, is the leading tackler on this team. And funny I mentioned that. Coming in and making the hit behind the line. I checked that. That was Jude Milford, 9, not 2. It is hard to pick up these numbers.
You can see Jude Milford right there, kind of see, and what the terminology is, you get a clear call. Hole opens up, I fill hole. Clear call, he steps right in there and bangs it up for a loss on that particular play. Nowhere for Spring to go.
3rd and 11. The line to make is the De La Salle 44-yard line. LeBlanc throws. That was in the direction of Devin Chavis, the junior wide receiver. And it'll be 4th and 11.
Jacoby Hankton out there, the corner, the senior corner out there on the coverage, did a nice job forcing the ball to be thrown wide, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
And we'll get our first look at Ben Tate, the junior punter. We were watching this young man warm up, and
he was kicking him out of the stadium.
He was basically putting everything into the bushes over there. It gets a leg into this one. They're going to let it hit. get out of the way, and this is going to roll inside the 10-yard line, probably to about the 6, it appears. That'll be a 49-yard punt for Tate. De La Salle will take over deep in their own end. Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Lamarck Ford in Kenner, with a 30,000 square foot collision center using state-of-the-art technology to repair all makes and models, and one of the first in the area to work on aluminum body vehicles. Come see our Lamarkable deals and service. Stop by or go to lamarck.com. Cavaliers at the 6-yard line. And before this one can get started,
I think we've got Grant Poole jumping into that neutral zone.
nope, it's a false start.
It was a false start, my goodness. So it must have drawn him, and they're going to march it off against
It'll
De La Salle.
be half the distance to the goal.
False start on Cavaliers.
So put it at the 3,
Replay first down.
where it'll be 1st and 13. On the backs will motion out. Room to run. A flag comes in behind the play, so hold everything on this run. In the area of holding there, Wade, is Montreal Johnson on the carry, but this is going to come back. Let's see exactly where it gets spotted from.
Holding on the Cavaliers.
Well, not a good start. 2 penalties. Going to put it right almost
Let's see, where's the...
at the goal line. Half a distance again. Ball looks like it's
put
right
it back at the 3, so it'll end up being a gain of 3 and a 3-yard penalty. Remember, everything is a spot foul. Johnson once again.
They're running the counter right there. They pull the backside guard and tackle. That time it looked like Noah Devlin and Kyle Volpe. Backside guard and tackle for De La Salle. Gets a kick out and a seal, and he rams it up inside on the counter play.
Looks like it's out past the 10 to the 11-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 5.
One thing I can say about this defensive Teurlings, they're not extremely large, but they do run well.
Now, they just changed the down marker back to 2nd. The down marker said 3rd when that play, the penalty downfield and the hold, the play doesn't count. Trying to run it this way and nowhere to go, as that was defended very well right there. Looks like Bradley Boudreaux, one of the Teurlings linebackers, with the tackle there. 24. I don't know if that is. It says Gary Thomas on the roster, who's listed as a DB, but I don't know if that's indeed who made the carry. 3rd down and 6. The ball is at the 10-yard line. One receiver way out wide. Now Johnson coming back this way. Flag is down. It'll be right near the 1st down marker. Might have even gotten to it, but hold everything. Literally and figuratively.
R.J. Trepp, fine linebacker from Teurlings, runs from his linebacker position clear across the field to make the hit on that. One thing I can say again about Teurlings, they're not big. If you look at them in stature, they're kind of small, okay? But I tell you what, these cats can run. They get off of blocks well. They pursue well. They get a lot of these white jerseys to the ball. It's trademark of a good defense.
So talking about this, I don't know exactly where the mark-off is going to happen from. Maybe they turned it down. They're going to decline the penalty because it's going to be 4th and 1. We're going to wait for the signal here, holding, and it is declined. So it's 4th and 1. The ball is at the 15-yard line.
3 penalties in the first series, 2 holding, 1 illegal procedure. Looks like De La Salle's going to go for this.
Wow. So it's 4th and about a yard. A long yard, really. And I think they drew him offside, Wade.
I don't know if that was the original plan. That might have been the original plan right there.
It worked.
It worked.
So you got first down of the game for De La Salle.
You got to learn to hold your water in situations like that. You don't move. It's called ball key. You got to make sure that ball moves. You move.
Do you have a play called for that? Where that's all you do, and you just call the play.
You go in there. We usually use the
play action, taking a shot down the field. He's got a man wide open. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. 80 yards on the touchdown pass from
that was Gary.
Milford. If it was Thomas, 24 there.
That was Gary Thomas. He's 24 in our roster. And he's now the fans for De La Salle, number one in their heart, with a long touchdown pass right there off the play action.
Yeah,
he runs a seam route. Yeah. They're in man coverage. They catch Teurlings in man coverage, and he just runs away from the Teurling defender.
Point after is good. And with 3:48 remaining here in the first quarter, your score is De La Salle 10 and Teurlings nothing. And that is, but you talked about this when we prepared for John Curtis games. De La Salle is a team that generally wants to run the football. They will get out to the edge, but primarily they're going to be a team that runs it. But every once in a while, you're going to see that play action. They're off the jet sweep. They got somebody behind the secondary there, and it went to the house.
Well, Teurlings has been lining up in man coverage, 8-man front, man coverage. So they had the matchup. Thank you. So off the play action pass, off the jet sweep, they're going to pull the ball down and take that one shot. And they got the matchup with Gary Thomas that was one-on-one with the safety, wide open, had 3 steps on him. The ball was put right on the money by Cole Milford.
So Gary Thomas, the senior, we've seen him a couple of times now, and that goes 80 yards for the score. This kickoff to the 1. Well defended by the Cavaliers special teams, and Teurlings will start this possession at the 16-yard line. Teurlings is a team that's obviously suited to try to play come-from-behind football as much as they will throw it. Samuel LeBlanc, their quarterback, has thrown for 2,189 yards this year. 17 touchdowns to 9 interceptions.
And he'll spread it around, like we said earlier in the pregame talk, that he's going to throw it all over the place, and he loves to throw it to his running back, Spring, out of the backfield.
He's going to keep it here on first down, and there are a ton of black shirts waiting for him behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of 3.
Off the zone read, great job right there by Jude Milford, the middle linebacker for De La Salle. Scrapes across the top and makes a nice play on Samuel LeBlanc, who had pulled the ball off of the zone read.
Called his name a couple of times already for tackles for losses. Came in with 7 on the season. He's got 2 here in the first quarter tonight. 2nd down and 13. LeBlanc going far side, incomplete in the direction of his running back Spring. It'll be 3rd and long.
De La Salle sitting in a vaunted 2-high defense right there, playing cover 2. A lot of zone coverage right there, just kind of, I guess you would say, daring Teurlings to throw the ball into the seams and into the holes.
Eddie Jaguar, the veteran defensive coordinator.
Well, it's a trademark Jaguar defense. I mean, he always has his perimeter playing so well. Those safeties and those corners and those outside linebackers.
2 wides to the bottom of your screen. LeBlanc will throw. It is caught, but I think it's short of a first down. Let's see where they spotted Coleman Bond on the catch. He got it right at the 25-yard line, which is a good yard short of the first down.
Safety's got to drive that ball. They allowed the number 2 receiver to catch the ball right over the middle in the post in between the safeties. The safety was responsible for him as he was coming out of his break, and he just kind of sat there and didn't drive on the ball. That safety's got to drive the ball. If he drives that ball in that post route, that thing should be picked. If not, at least a big hit.
This offense staying on the field in a 4th and 1. Let's see what they have in store. All just trying to draw them offside, and they're going to let the play clock expire. But check that timeout.
Well, it started to be window dressing when the offensive line dropped down to a 3-point stance. They hadn't been in a 3-point stance all night, okay? So if you do your film study, okay, you're going to see that somewhere in the past 11 weeks where they're going to drop down into a 3-point stance trying to get you to jump. So credit De La Salle and their coaching staff for having their kids prepared, knowing in a short down and distance situation that when they do fall into a 3-point stance, hey, you got to hold your water, make sure you do not move. Because the ball has not moved. The rest is window dressing. The motion across, all of that was trying to get the Cavaliers to jump off sides. Coming back out again with the
offense is back out on the field.
So do you call a timeout just to try to get them to draw them off sides again? The chess game.
They will snap it. Taking a shot down the field. Pass is incomplete. Well defended into double coverage right there. It was intended for Devin Chavis, and 2 Cavaliers there on the spot, and that was Jacoby Hankton who knocked it away, and that was also Deontay LeBranch in coverage. Well defended. The Cavaliers didn't bite on the play action right there. They took the deep shot, and De La Salle is going to get the ball at the 25-yard line here with 2:03 remaining in the first quarter.
De La Salle stays in their 2 high coverage. They did not change. They want to run receiver around right down the middle of the field. It's going to draw double coverage from the safeties. I don't get the call. I don't like to be critical. I would rather try to pound it right down your throat with a running back like I have in spring and pick up that yard.
Now give it away on first down, and that is Montrell Johnson will get about maybe 6 on first down.
Montrell Johnson on the carry, and a 6 on the play.
Johnson, as a sophomore, set a single-game school record in this very stadium against Riverside, rushing for over 300 yards. He'll get it again on second down, moves the pile, falls forward. This might be enough for a first down. Looks like it is, judging by the far side official's foot. It looks like it's inside the 15-yard line. And De La Salle's going to show a little tempo here, Wade.
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to get movement out of that man coverage of Teurlings. That's what we're seeing with 2 running backs in the backfield, and you see one of the running backs motioning out of the backfield, trying to get some sort of movement with those linebackers or with those safeties.
Johnson will bounce this one outside. He's got room to run. 5 touchdowns. 14 yards for the score. Montrell Johnson, and De La Salle leads it 16-0.
You're going to see the corner from Teurlings is going to get pinned inside on their left edge. Here comes Johnson taking a sweep right here. He's going to bounce. Watch the corner in the white jersey kind of get pinned right there. Doesn't fight off the block, which gives a crease for Johnson to get into the end zone. Another touchdown for De La Salle.
Point after coming. It is on the way, and it is good. And with 1:14 remaining here in the first quarter, your new score is De La Salle 17 and Teurlings Catholic nothing. So I ask you, Wade, does the team with the week off look rusty?
No, they do not. No, right now they do not look rusty. I mean, hitting on all intents and purposes, they are on all cylinders. That first series early where they had the 3 penalties, the 2 holding and the illegal procedure, you would have thought maybe that would be a little bit of rust. But let's also think about this. Teurlings has kind of helped De La Salle's cause a little bit. Okay.
Well, they've you had the
right.
What effectively is a turnover on the kickoff, and then the penalty on 4th and 1.
Correct.
And right after that they scored, and they go forward themselves on 4th and 1.
And then the call on 4th and short right here, which would set De La Salle up in the red zone, or just outside of the red zone.
So here's your kickoff, and this will come to about the 6-yard line. And and still won't get to the 20. I think that was Connor Kleinpeter on the return there.
Starting deep in their territory again. Good coverage units by the Cavaliers.
Gary Thomas on the tackle.
So Teurlings will begin this at the 17-yard line. This is their third offensive possession. Got a couple of first downs on the opening possession, and then punted, and then 4 and out on their second possession. They went for it on 4th and short. Up the gun on first down, and not that much doing there.
Not getting a lot of movement up front.
No, they're not. They're
not getting a lot of movement, and they're just trying to really pound that inside zone with Spring right there, and they'll pick up a yard right there, and that's about it until that De La Salle Cavalier defensive line just sheds the blocks and makes the tackle.
Well, what's one of those things that's interesting to me, Wade, is you start as we prepare for this game, and of course you look at size of players. And you talked about the fact that maybe they weren't as big. That is intercepted, and that's going to be a touchdown. Jacoby Hankton on the return and the pick six, and it is 23-0, and we're not through the first quarter yet.
That was all play action pass. Ball just not very well thrown right there. Well, honestly, I think it was a miscue. I don't think there was a lot of communication between the quarterback and the receiver. The intended receiver continued running his go route, and Samuel LeBlanc throws it as a stop route. Hankton steps right up, picks it off, and goes the distance. I think that had to go to communication. I think that's something that Dane Chapanche right now is talking over with his quarterback over there about, hey, we all got to be on the same page, because right there, it just cost us 6 points.
Point after is good with 28.1 seconds left here in the first quarter. What is it with you and I going to playoff games, and it looks like we're going to have a blowout at the end of the first quarter? What was it, 27-0 last week? Now we've got 24-0 here, De La Salle, and not even a full quarter in the books.
Well, every time we say that, something ends up coming.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Coming back and making a ball game out of it. And Teurlings knows how to come back and make a ball game out of it. They've done it all year long. They have the type of quarterbacks and receivers to get that done. They're just going to have to realize, I think, offensively, that they're just not going to knock this De La Salle defensive line off the ball. So they're going to have to get them out on the flanks. They're going to have to start making them run to the perimeter. Just kind of use the speed that they have in order to be able to try to tire out some of those big defensive linemen of De La Salle. Looks like there was some sort of penalty on the point after touchdown, which is going to push the ball back from against Teurlings, where De La Salle might be kicking from the 50-yard line. There's an explanation going on right now to Ryan Manali about how this is being legislated by the officials.
It's 3 touchdowns in the span of 3 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe. It was 3:48 on the first touchdown, so now 28 seconds. So 3 minutes and 20 seconds. De La Salle has put 21 on the board here. And let's see where this kickoff is going to happen from here.
It looks like they're going to get another opportunity at the...
Are they going to try the point after here again? I don't know what's going on. I see Ryan Manali is huddling his troops on this 30-yard line to our right, as you see. The kickoff would happen to this side, so I don't know if the point after is coming again. Maybe he's going to try and go for 2. I don't know what's going on. You look at Teurlings there; they've got their kickoff return unit on the field. You see Coach Manali talking to his troops right now.
Head officials walking over and talking to Dane Chapanche to, I guess, inform him of what's going on. Okay. It looks like they're as much in the dark as we are, and it looks like the Teurlings defense is coming back on the field. So it looks like the penalty, which we never did get an explanation from the official what the penalty was, is going to be assessed on the PAT again.
Yeah, and
so
perhaps this is on De La Salle, because I see one official standing at the 18-yard line, where if it was a 15-yard penalty,
So we're looking at some sort of block below the waist, holding penalty, something of that nature against the kick team from De La Salle. So the PAT will be played over again.
Oh, there must have been some kind of personal foul, whatever, from locking legs on the blocking unit.
Locking legs
That's the indication that we're getting. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll get another try at the extra point now. It's going to be a 35-yard extra point. Ryan Manali just shrugs his shoulders.
I would be shrugging my shoulders too.
When you're up, my opinion. When you're up 23-0, it's hard to be too upset right now. So they'll try it again, this time from 35, and this kick is good again. So it's still 24-0 after all of that.
Okay. So here we go. You can't, within a span of about a minute and a half, change your technique on a point after touchdown or a scrimmage kick like a field goal or a PAT. Correct?
Doesn't seem like you would do it that quickly.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Did I make my point?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay.
All right. Let's check Division II. Of course, this is a quarterfinal. 3 others going on around the state. St. Thomas More is the number 1 seed, an early 7-0 lead on Evangel in the first quarter. Also, first quarter up in Shreveport tonight. St. Louis Catholic and Loyola Prep are tied at 7. No score yet on the University Lab Vanderbilt Catholic game. The winner of this game will play the winner of the U-High Vanderbilt game next Friday, and if De La Salle wins, De La Salle will be the home team. So kicking off for the 5th time already tonight, and it's not even the end of the first quarter. This one back to the 2. Trying to bounce it outside. That is once again Klein Peter, but he's not going to get to the 20-yard line. I guess the one thing that stands out here early on, Wade, is De La Salle's got some size up front, but they've really got some speed and are closing to the football very well, whether it's on special teams or on defense.
I'm impressed with their coverage teams. They cover the field real well, and they do a nice job tackling when they get to the point of contact. But getting back to their defense, they're sitting there 4-man front, 2 high secondary, and they're just Teurlings can't knock them off the ball and run the ball inside. I think I said it a couple of minutes ago. Teurlings is going to have to get out to the flank. They're going to have to get them running sideline to sideline, and they're going to have to get back to the things that they do well, getting the ball into the running back's hands out in the flat, throwing the balls to their receivers on the short passing game.
And that's going nowhere on first down, as that was Devin Chavis, who was brought down in a hurry by Jamarian Peterson, who is the leader on this team in tackles for losses. That was his 14th tackle for loss on the season, and that was a loss of about 5.
I was standing down on the field before the game, standing next to number 7, Jamarian Peterson. He's a man. All right. He looks like he spends all day in the weight room. Now, I know they don't do that at De La Salle. All right. They got to go to class. But this young man is put together. He is chiseled. This guy is a fine football player.
We've reached the end of the first quarter. It has been all Cavaliers. 12 minutes in the books. De La Salle 24, Teurlings nothing. Back with more. You're watching high school playoff football from Crescent City Sports. So we start the second quarter with Teurlings playing a 2nd and long. They'll try to run a bubble screen, and it is blown up. It was trying to go to Devin Chavis, but nothing doing there. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Jude Milford read it real well from his linebacker position. He was out there lickety split to kind of knock that thing down real quick, but the ball really wasn't very well thrown by Samuel LeBlanc, who was trying to throw off his back foot as he was getting bared down on by that De La Salle defensive front.
So 3rd down, Call it 16, the ball at the 12-yard line. Coming back once again, it is Chavis, and once again, nothing doing. Well defended by the Cavaliers. It'll be a gain of about 5, and it's going to be 4th and 11.
Real well defended by Shamir Keelan out there from his outside linebacker position, flying out there on the hitch, trying to get out there underneath the number 1 receiver to cause some disturbance, and he did. The ball was caught real well, and he was there to make the tackle. Kicking into the wind now. The south wind is what.
And it's not, the flag's not blowing an awful lot as much as they were maybe when we were on the field before the game. It's slacked up a little bit. Punt is away from the left footer, and it's going to be short. And De La Salle's going to start another possession on the plus side of the 50.
I think they've only started one possession tonight in their own territory at the beginning of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Not the series that they scored with the
field goal, but the first, the second possession, they got pinned back at the 6-yard line and went 94 yards.
That's right.
This is going to start at the 45-yard line.
Every other drive has started in extremely great field position for the Cavaliers, putting a lot of pressure on this Teurlings defense.
By the way, the Division I scoreboard just down from us and Tad Gormley. Brother Martin leads Scotlandville 7-0 first quarter. John Curtis leads Jesuit 14-7 first quarter. That's at Hoss Memphis across the river. On first down, it's Johnson. Room to run and into the secondary, finally dragged down from behind at the 28-yard line.
He kind of let that set up for him. You can see him kind of delay a little bit, let his blocking get set up, and then he hits it right off tackle. There's the motion to try to move the secondary, which it does. Little draw with a kick-out block right there, and he finds a crease and just pops it into the secondary. 5'11", 190 pounds, comes in with 700 yards and 9 touchdowns on the season.
He's got some nice offers out there, just a junior. Colorado, Tennessee, Virginia, some of the state schools. Johnson, another first down. Having a flag on the play, so hold everything. Ryan Manali, arms outstretched, doesn't understand where the holding came from.
Well, that's the third holding on the night for him offensively, and every coach in America always wants to know where the holding's coming from. I mean, you're going to get a number, but that doesn't mean that it was a hold. And that's coming from a coach who has his arms out like that many times.
There's probably pictures of him somewhere. Actually, give him a 1-yard gain, it's going to be a 10-yard penalty.
I mean, the holding thing is kind of like, the generic call of all calls for officials.
Right, 1st and 19, the ball at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, let's call some holding.
Once again, it's Johnson, and once again, he finds some room in there, gets all the penalty yardage back, and it's going to be 2nd and 10.
I like Johnson. I tell you what, we've seen him earlier, and he's got a little giddy up in his step. But what he does is he lets things develop in front of him, right? He kind of let the kick out happen. He's going to let the seal come up on the linebacker. He's going to kind of delay a little bit before he kind of drops it into another gear. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, he's running around in your secondary. He'll duck his shoulder. He'll try to run you over. But he also has little moves where he can give you a little head and shoulder and kind of make you miss. He's one of those complete running backs. He's going to be a great pickup by somebody.
Second, call it 11, the ball at the 29-yard line. And this is Byron Phillips on the carry. Phillips is a guy who didn't play much. He got hurt in the Jamboree, returned for week 10. And just in time.
He's brought down by R.J. Tripp. They brought him on a blitz. R.J. Tripp is having a great season. 6 foot, 210-pound leading tackler for the Rebels. 89 tackles on the year, 1 interception coming into this game. He can play football now.
Couple tackles for losses. He gets one there for a loss of 2. Now it's 3rd down and 13. The line to make is the 18-yard line. Milford, screen pass. This is Johnson. Looks like he got the first down. Yep, they're going to give it to him. Coming to the near side here, couldn't see where he actually went out of bounds, but he got past the the sticks and mark it at the 16-yard line, a gain of 15.
What's the blitz coming off the Teurlings right side, De La Salle left side? Lenny, what's the best equation you can have for a screen to work?
Team blitzing.
Exactly. You guess right and run your screen into the blitz, and that's what happened right there. Huge pickup. Teurlings blitzes themselves out of the play, and off goes Johnson on the screen.
And this is a quarterback keeping, and he is in for the touchdown. Milford goes 16 yards for the score. It is 30-0 Cavaliers.
Keeps it off the zone read. Fakes Johnson right there. Reads the defensive end. Last man on the line of scrimmage, who follows Johnson down the line of scrimmage, and he pulls the ball out, disconnects. Right there, there's the read. No defensive end there. Look at that gaping hole right there that's vacated by the defensive end who was supposed to be setting the edge, or there should have been a linebacker there setting the edge. Nobody there, and he floats right on into the end zone.
Point after on the way and off the scoreboard and good. 8:33 remaining in the second quarter. I didn't see this coming, Wade. Your new score, De La Salle 31, Teurlings Catholic nothing. Of course De La Salle is the favorite based on what they've done all year long. But 31-0, 3.5 minutes into the second quarter, no, I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't see this coming either, and like you said, I see no evidence of De La Salle having a sleeping hangover after their week off. You know, right now, Teurlings is just having trouble getting anything going on offense. They've taken shots. They've tried their outside running game. They've tried to pound it at you inside. They've tried their screen game. Nothing seems to be working right now for Teurlings offensively. They're 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Good field position for De La Salle on all their drives except for one. It equals 31 points.
We're starting to give you some Division I scores there. Brother Martin 7-0 over Scotlandville second quarter. Curtis over Jesuit 21-7 second quarter. Rummel over St. Aug 14-6 second quarter. Catholic High over St. Paul 7-0 first quarter. So the high seeds all on top early. And this kick with the wind is going to, they're going to let him run it out. I thought he took a step back into the end zone there, but no, they're going to mark it dead. The ball came loose at the end of the play, and it's covered up, but I think they're going to mark this dead at the point of the tackle, which will be about the 15-yard line.
Well, I mean, it was real close to that goal line. I don't know if the ball carried them in, but once that ball crosses that line, you're supposed to blow that thing dead. But it is kind of dark down there. It's dark for us, and it might be dark for the officials, too. There's no lights down there. Our viewers can probably see that on the north end of Pan American Stadium right there. The lights aren't very good.
So Teurlings tonight, let's look at their drive starts. The 22, the 16, the 17, the 18, and now the 14. Let's just say they've been working a little bit from deep in their own end. On a first down, that's not going anywhere. It looked like a flag came in at the end of the play.
That was Ephraim Scott from his defensive end position, just kind of followed that screen right out there. He read screen, and what did he do is he retraced his steps and trailed the screen receiver and caught up to him and threw him out of bounds. We got a personal foul on defense. It looked like a face mask, maybe.
Face mask against the Cavaliers.
So that's going to be a 15 tack on to the end of the play.
And they made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, so the play is going to count for a loss of 4. And then it's 15 more there. So it'll be a first down for Teurlings. Put it at the 25-yard line. That's their first down since the opening possession, or their opening possession. Give it away, coming this way on first down on a big hit, delivered on Larkin Spring for about a gain of 1. Jalen Nett has been all over the place this evening, Wade, from the opening kickoff, literally.
I like what De La Salle's doing now with their secondary. He's in a little quarter halves look, still a too high, but what that does is that frees the field safety up to be able to get down into the box really fast to be able to come the next hitter and gap player versus the run.
We'll try to run it again and get nowhere once again with Spring. It's like a loss of 1 on a play, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Kenneth Jackson that time, 5'10", 290, just shrugs the block of the Teurlings offensive lineman and just steps right in and bangs up the play for no gain.
Yeah, call it no gain officially. 3rd down and 8, the ball at the 27, the line to make right at the stripe at the 35.
This De La Salle defensive line is extremely physical. They're just ragdolling a couple of these.
Now they're taking their 2 tackles and splitting them out wide here, trying to provide a different look. This is a double pass, and that is an open receiver and a first down as the catch is made by Coleman Bond, and we've got a flag down back at the 25-yard line. So
you've got to throw it backwards to throw it forwards. So what probably took place is he could have thrown it forwards to forwards. Let's see the.
Well, it's an illegal
procedure.
Maybe an illegal formation there. Maybe somebody didn't get back on the line of scrimmage.
Well, illegal procedure because somebody could have been moving out there. Maybe the tackle didn't get set when he split from the formation. I don't know if you can see any movement right there. They do get a throw backwards, and then here's the throw forwards. And on high school football rules, as well as college and pro, you got to throw it backwards and throw it forwards. But here's the big story. All right, right about now, Eddie Jacquelart of De La Salle is ripping Terrell Blanco, who bit up on that extremely hard and let the receiver blow right past him. So he is getting an earfall from the defensive coordinator from De La Salle, and rightly so.
Offside against De La Salle, and the 5 yards is going right back the other way. So once again, it will be 3rd and 8 at the 27.
Okay.
Sort of like offsetting penalties, just on 2 different snaps. By the way, kudos to the folks at City Park here. This is the 2nd of 3 games in 3 days that they are hosting playoff-wise here at Pan American Stadium. So they'll be a little busy. Squeeze in some practices, some soccer games in there as soccer season's underway. As that pass incomplete, thrown in this direction, intended for Julian Guy, the junior wide receiver. And was that Ned again on the breakup?
I believe that was Jacoby Hankton, who has been everywhere tonight too and has a pickoff for a touchdown. Teurlings goes empty right there, so they get De La Salle out of the 2 high coverage. De La Salle's adjustment to the empty formation was to go to cover 3, 1 high. And they throw the quick hitch play out there. Jacoby Hankton comes up and bangs it hard for no gain.
So 4th and 8 at the 27, and Teurlings will have to punt it away once again. This is a much better kick this time. They're going to let it hit, and it's going to take a De La Salle bounce and be down at about the 42-yard line. Gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Riverlands Insurance, meeting all your insurance needs, and a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579. Go to RIVINS.com, or hey, go stop by their brand new headquarters office located just west of the old airport terminal in St. Rose. Our thanks to our good friend Nolan Luke for his support of high school sports here at Crescent City Sports. So De La Salle starting on their own side of the 50 for the first time in a while. Here's a little, basically an extended handoff right there. And still on his feet, still running, right near the first down marker. And that was Gary Thomas.
Gary Thomas, we didn't see him earlier in the year when we were calling Warren Eason, and this cat has got some moves and got some speed. They have him listed as a
check it. That was Gilmore, 15. I thought it was 24. They lined Gilmore up in the backfield that time.
Okay. Well, Gilmore's got some speed too.
Yes, he does.
He can flat go. We saw him earlier catch that deep ball.
They're across the 50, just short of the first down. Officially call it the 49-yard line.
Mismatch out here, 3-on-2.
They'll run it, and this is Phillips on the carry. It'll be a first down.
If that was an RPO, they should have pulled the ball right there and got it to the number 2 or number 3 receiver out here at the bottom of your screen. There was a huge mismatch on the numbers. Teurlings didn't move anybody out of the box out to work with the number 3 receiver. You know, you don't have to line somebody out there one-on-one to cover them. You can move somebody out of the box and play a half a box, half in, half out, but you're a step closer to being able to cover some sort of bubble screen by the number 3 receiver.
Give it away once again to Phillips, who's as we're seeing more of this series, and no gain.
Byron Phillips on the carry. Loss of 1 on the play.
Again on the tackle, R.J. Tripp steps right in there and makes a huge hit. I'm impressed with Tripp. He runs well, he hits well, he's a senior. It's kind of all over the place for this Teurlings Rebel defense.
So now a more conventional look offensively here for De La Salle after that tight formation a moment ago. They'll throw it out this way, and once again, it is Gilmore on the reception. So they ran the same play basically to this side, Wade. And
well, and here's the deal. Nobody's moving. Did you see that now? Teurlings has gone back to a zone coverage. Nobody is moving out there, so you've got 2 blocking 2. The third guy's all the way 12 to 15 yards back in the middle of the field at the free safety position. So a guy like Gilmore's speed, once he gets his hands on the ball and he's got a full head of steam going forward, is going to have the advantage on a downhill safety coming from that far away.
they'll take an adjustment from the far sideline to deal with that play.
Same thing again. You see there's nobody out there.
This time they run it, and on the carry, that was Byron Phillips, and he'll get about 4 on first down.
Apparently,
Check it, it's Johnson, 3, not 1, Johnson.
De La Salle has come in with this little package of taking Gilmore, putting him in the backfield, motioning him out, trying to get some movement with the coverage of the secondary of Teurlings. Teurlings has stopped playing man. They've gotten more into a zone here, so they've got the inside zone game that they can run with their running back, Montrell Johnson. They got the zone read off of it where the quarterback can pull the ball, and now they got the little screen bubble that they can shoot it out there with. The little package of plays, very nicely put together by the offensive coordinator at De La Salle.
Now here's a little jumbo package here. Speaking of packages, they run on 2 offensive linemen here, and this is Johnson in the Wildcat, who will keep it and go left side, and he's going to go untouched for the score. 16 yards for the touchdown.
Well, they put Johnson at the quarterback position or the Wildcat. They run counter off of it. So what you've got is just another running back in the backfield. Watch the pulling backside guard tackle right there. And you have a tight end sealing up inside. So you get 2 blockers at the point of attack with 1 kick-out block. Nobody's there to fill the hole. He walks into the end zone for another De La Salle score.
6 plays, 58 yards. It took 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Point after is again off the scoreboard and good. Your new score, De La Salle 38 and Teurlings nothing.
Well, whatever they did during the bye week has certainly paid off for the Cavaliers tonight.
Cavaliers have 5 possessions tonight, a field goal and 4 touchdowns, and for good measure, you add the pick 6 in there for another touchdown. This has been impressive on all counts.
And I don't know if you've noticed it, but that pick 6 was kind of like the first pin in the voodoo doll, kind of. You know, you kind of saw that it hit that nerve, and Teurlings just has not been the same since then.
Well, I'd go back. I think the key play in this game wasn't even a play. It was the offsides call, on the hard count 4th and 1. If they can, if they can hold their ground right there and force De La Salle to punt, they're getting the ball back in a 3-0 game at that point, probably in good field position.
Correct. Another needle in the voodoo doll.
This kick not as deep. It's going to be fielded at about the 8. And the return will get out near the 20-yard line. So first time in a while that Teurlings is going to start a possession out past the 20.
Oh, they've got to get something going on offense. They've got to get some life back into their system. They've got 2:53. If they can put something together in this 2:53, get something on the board. They've got a great field goal kicker who has kicked a 52-yard field goal already this year in Ian Judice. If they could just get something on the board, they could get a little momentum going into halftime, kind of work some things out in that locker room, and come back out a whole different team the second half.
Three wide receivers, bottom of your screen, one man coming in motion back towards the formation. Shot down the field, and that is incomplete. in the direction of the man who was in motion, Devin Chavis, the junior wide receiver. He's got 25 catches on the air.
There was pressure applied right there by Jamarian Peterson, the defensive end from De La Salle, on Samuel LeBlanc. He was trying to look for a deep out right there, just kind of threw the ball down into the ground. The ball really never got there, didn't have a lot of velocity on it.
On 2nd and 10, it's a little dump off. It's going to be short of the first down. That is, I believe that might have been Fontenot, the tight end. No, check it. That's Guy, 13.
Julian Guy comes in with 24 receptions this year, 420 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's been a part of that really great receiving core of Teurlings all year, where they spread the ball around.
Give him 6. It'll be 3rd and 4. The ball at the 27. Give it away on the delay, and I don't think he got there, Wade. Yeah, they're going to mark him a yard short. That was Spring on the carry.
Man, it's like running into a wall. I mean, Spring hammers it up in there. All right, ducks that shoulders, but all of a sudden it's like bang, and then he's down. It's like running into a brick wall, that De La Salle defensive front.
They're going to go for it here on 4th and 1. Quarterback's going to keep it, not make it back to the line of scrimmage. But you had to go for it there. I mean, at this point, it's 38-0 to punt on 4th and 1. It just, you haven't stopped them no matter how far they've had to go yet.
True, you haven't stopped them, but you got to punt that football, and you got to punt that thing to give yourself a chance to stop them, to try to go in only down 38-0 with 1:49, because if De La Salle sticks one in here, it's just going to be another pin in that doll, as I've been talking about.
Oh, by the way, De La Salle won the toss and deferred. They get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
And that's what I'm talking about. And they get in the ball. You had to punt that football right there. I disagree with that decision. Now they get somebody out on the receiver. That's going to be the 3rd receiver coming out of the backfield.
So this time they'll give it away to the running back, going back in the other direction, and that was Byron Phillips on the carry. He will get about 3 on first down.
Is De La Salle going to be content here just to go in with 38, or they're going to use their timeouts and try to tack another one on here?
What's interesting that we're going to see a lot of with a lot of these teams, Wade, De La Salle is running 3 and 4 skill guys on at a time, just shuffling in plays. That is Johnson. I think there's a flag behind the play as he got to the perimeter. It might have been a first down, but this may be coming back.
I'm going to guess it's a hold. And yes.
You guessed right.
It's like a gambler, all right? I mean, what are the odds, right? The odds are pretty high. It's a holding. Especially if you don't see it actually taking place. Maybe number 87, I think, our spotter says out there.
Joshua Thornton may have
put his hands in the wrong place on the jersey and stretched the jersey out there on the perimeter.
Waiting to see where the football is actually spotted here. It's going to be at the 34, so guess what? It's another one of those plays that's a gain and a penalty. It's going to be 2nd down. They're going to move it back. Hang on here. They don't know where it's going.
Remember, it's a spot foul.
It is, but they had it down at the 34. Right. Now they've moved it back, I believe. I see the chains move back to the 37, so it's an 11-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd down at 18.
An 11-yard penalty. It's supposed to be
because
10
it's
from the
spot.
spot.
Right, it's 10 from the spot. The flag came a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
There you go. There's your 11.
And timeout De La Salle. They are going to talk about this 2nd down 18 play coming up. It gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 35 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction.
I'd like to thank the following sponsors this season. XLV Real Estate.
So at this point, these two coaches, I guess, are getting their halftime speeches ready. They're going to be a little bit different on the two ends of the field, I would think.
Well, you're down 38-0. There really ain't a lot of chewing you can do. I mean, you've got to go in there and you got to get your kids back into some sort of frame of mind, right? I mean, because If not, this thing could double in the second half. So you got to get them back into the state of mind, find out what it is that you can do, what it is that you can't do, and let's go back to playing some sort of fundamental football and try to chip away at the lead. Play every down like it's 0-0. So what does De La Salle do? Take assessment of where we are, and let's continue to play with the same momentum that we've played with in the first half.
Give it away on 2nd down and 18. I believe that was Johnson for a gain of 2.
Looks like De La Salle's going to call another timeout.
Check, it'll be a gain of 1 on the play. 3rd down and 17, and one more timeout here for the Cavaliers with 35 seconds remaining. Interesting at Hoss Memphis. John Curtis 21, Jesuit 14 as they're closing in on halftime.
Good football game. You know, the Jays know how to stop their offense. And, you know, when you're playing a team the second time around, which is what's happening in the Catholic League with this split ordeal, you know, it's hard to beat a team twice in a row. Little different scheme, little different idea. Find out what you did wrong the first time. Don't make those mistakes again. And plus the playoff mystique. You want to live to play another day, because if you don't, you're going home and not playing anymore.
Country Day on the road tonight, playing the 1 seed Vermilion Catholic and trailing just 13-9 at halftime in a 1-8 game. Johnson looking to bounce this outside. Gets to the edge, still on his feet, will finally step out of bounds, but I think it was before he got to the sticks. See where the spot is. He steps out, 26.5 remaining, and they're going to mark it at it's like the 24-yard line.
He just got on right. He just got on the edge like he did on the touchdown that he scored on. The corner got pinned again. Credit the wide receivers from De La Salle doing a great job blocking out on the edge. They pin the corner. He bounces down the boundary and stepped out of bounds. Just didn't get near the first down marker.
So on 4th and 5, it's kind of no man's land, even with a pretty good kicker here. You really want to line up and try a 41-yard field goal.
Well, they're having personnel problems.
Yeah,
right
they've got
personnel problems.
Either call a timeout or
right.
They called timeout. They
called timeout. Their last one and a half, I believe. Get a little sloppy right there on this drive with the penalties, that sort of thing, the personnel deal. You know, if you're going to work the clock, then you got to work the clock and make sure you're crisp on your personnel groupings and things of that nature. And I know Ryan Manali will have a word with those guys about that tomorrow, especially getting people on and off the field into the packages and the personnel groupings that you want.
This, by the way, is one of 50 games tonight around the state. There were 5 played last night. There will be 1 right here tomorrow night. Because, again, you had a lot of early round upsets with the New Orleans area teams.
Correct.
That gave them a chance to host second-round games.
Exactly.
Carver went to the East and played at Joe Brown tonight against Carr. You had a game here last night where McDonough 35 beat Lake Charles College Prep 22-14, and then you've got Warren Easton playing here tomorrow night against Tioga from the Alexandria area.
4th and 5.
So here we go on 4th and 5. Line to make is the 19.
They're in that heavy formation again, or jumbo formation again.
Yep. And it's going to be Montrell Johnson, and he will get the first down and then some.
So they're in the jumbo formation, and they run their counter left, pulling the backside guard and tackle. And what does Johnson do? He just hammers it up inside, and it looks like he has enough to pick up the first down. They're out of timeout, so the minute they set that ball and move the chains, that clock will start, and it is running now.
And Johnson actually went and spiked the ball right there. Because he was in, rather than try to run another quarterback back in the game.
So I'm sure they taught him how to take a snap.
Right. It'll officially go as a team attempt. It won't be credited to Johnson. So now on 2nd and 10, the 17-yard line. You got to throw the ball in the end zone here with no timeouts, I guess, or at least try to get it to the sideline. Phillips comes on late as the running back.
Yeah, take your shots right here.
Milford will step up, takes a hit, and falls forward, and that's going to probably end the first half.
And that's going to end it. When you take a sack, that clock's going to run out with 12 seconds left. You don't want to take a sack. You want to make sure you get that throw off. He was under a little pressure right there, just didn't have time to get his shot down the field.
Well, that is the only drive of the night that did not end in a score for De La Salle. They've had it 6 times, 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and that one ends without a score. And that's probably about the only thing that has not gone right offensively, maybe the exception of a couple of penalties thus far for De La Salle. We'll come back and talk about that more, run you down all the scores on our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard that you can find at CrescentCitySports.com. Well, let's take a break. We are at halftime. Your score, De La Salle 38 and Teurlings Catholic nothing. You are watching Louisiana High School playoff football from Crescent City Sports. As you take a look at the halftime stats there, Wade, the numbers don't suggest much different than what we're seeing on the scoreboard right now. All Cavaliers, your total yards are 258 to 26. Is that the... Yeah, it's a big disparity right there.
Yeah, it's extremely lopsided. Teurlings can't get anything going offensively. Look at their negative rushing yards, only 33 yards in the air. That's not like the normal Teurlings team that we've heard about and read about all season long. And then on the other side, look at De Salle, how they're balanced passing and rushing for a total of 258 yards. Big thing, no turnovers on their part.
Well, and keep this in mind, too. This is a Teurlings team that averages 335 yards a game. And they're being held to less than 10% of that in the first half.
Right, just can't get anything going, but what they've ran into in the first half is extremely strong De La Salle defensive line. The running game has been completely shut down by the 4 guys up front and the 2 inside linebackers.
All right, let's whip around some scores, shall we? Let's start in Division I, and we'll make our way back on the non-select side. Halftime, Rummel leading St. Augustine 14-8 over at Joe Yenny. Second quarter, Brother Martin leading Scotlandville 10-7 just down the way at Tad Gormley. Second quarter, John Curtis over Jesuit 27-14. And last we had first quarter, Catholic High leading St. Paul's 7-0. So all of the high seeds winning at this point. In Division II, last we had first quarter, St. Thomas More leading Evangel 7-0. Halftime, St. Louis Catholic on the road leading Loyola Prep 26-14. That's the 4-5 game.
Right.
Second quarter, U High had to go on the road because Vanderbilt, the 11th seed, went on the road and beat Hannon last week, so they got a home game. So U High on the road leading Vanderbilt 21-0, and of course the fourth quarter final going on here with De La Salle in command. As you look at Division III, Lafayette Christian's the 1 seed, leading Menard 21-7 second quarter. Second quarter, Dunham and Newman are tied 7-7. Halftime, St. Charles Catholic leads Episcopal 14-9. That is a 3-6 game. And in the 2-7 game, how about this one? Notre Dame trailing Catholic of New Iberia 17-7 in the second quarter. This is the 6th time I believe those teams have played now in 3 years. They've played in a dome the last 2 years. Catholic won 2 years ago. Notre Dame won last year. Here they are meeting in a quarterfinal.
That's Louis Cook and Brett Endest.
Yeah.
They know each other. They have dinner at each other's houses every night. So they know each other inside out.
Yeah.
And 2 outstanding football coaches with 2 outstanding programs.
And if Catholic and New Iberia, whoever wins that game, if St. Charles holds on, if Catholic wins that game, St. Charles could be at home next week as a 3 seed. And Lafayette Christian, the 1 seed with the lead over Menard, the Newman-Dunham winner would have to travel there if that were to hold up. In Division IV, halftime we mentioned Vermilion Catholic, the 1 seed leading Country Day 13-9. So good showing thus far by Joe Chango's club on the road in a 1-8 game. Second quarter, Calvary Baptist leading Washita Christian 26-7. Halftime, Southern Lab on the road leading Ascension Catholic 12-7. And at halftime, Catholic Point Coupee and Opelousas Catholic are scoreless. Division IV of all of the divisions, maybe the exception of Division I in the early years, although I think clearly there's some hierarchy there this year. But Division IV is the one bracket you look at, and you have no idea what might happen there. There's a lot of balance in that bracket.
A lot of balance, a lot of numbers too. If I'm not mistaken, that bracket is filled out.
Yeah, they had a 16-team bracket, exactly.
Right, 16-team bracket, so it's filled out, and nobody's sitting around a week and waiting off of a bye, etc. It's certainly not hurting De La Salle tonight.
No, it's not.
But like I said, it just depends on how you come off the bye. So a 16-team bracket is nice to play in.
Yeah, let's look at the 5A scores, and keep in mind you had a lot of upsets last week, so you've got a lot of lower-seeded teams playing at home tonight. West Monroe played last night because they anticipated weather in the Monroe area. They beat Captain Shreve 38-21. Second quarter, Airlines, one of those high seeds who had to travel because East St. John went and pulled the seed upset last week. They went to reserve. They lead East St. John 21-7 second quarter. Second quarter, talk about seeing it over and over again. Third straight year, Hahnville and Zachary are meeting in the playoffs. Zachary leads this one 14-12. Ruston is a low seed hosting because they pulled an upset last week. They lead East Ascension 14-13 at half. I believe that's the 4 against the 20. Second quarter, another seed upset going right now. Mandeville leading Alexandria 5-0.
Another baseball score.
There you go. Halftime, Houghton leading Como 8-7. Como was the 27 seed. You recall last week they went to Slidell, the 6 seed, and won.
Right.
Halftime, Covington is the 23 seed leading Destrehan, the team we saw last week, 7-0 at halftime. I'm surprised you could shut out that Destrehan offense for a half. And
After what we saw last week.
No question. In 4A, Lakeshore, the 1 seed, jumped out quickly on Leesville. They're leading 21-0 second quarter. Lakeshore having to travel because Leesville pulled an upset last week. Eunice over Bastrop 7-0 second quarter. Again, Tioga Moore and Easton here tomorrow night. Carr over at Joe Brown leading Carver 20-0 second quarter. You can bet Bryce Brown's team's not going to let up. If you remember, I believe it was last year, Carr and Carver were neck and neck in this second round game, and Carver gave Carr and everything they wanted in that game. So you're not going to take the foot off the gas in that type of game. Westgate leading Assumption 7-0 first quarter last. We had Neville and DeRitter. That's, I believe, the 2 against the 18. That's 7-7 second quarter in that one. On to 3A, let's focus on the locals now. St. James leading Green Oaks. They're the 1 seed having to travel. 22-8, St. James leading at the half. Booker T. Washington. How about this one? I tell you what, this is a 13 against a 4. Booker T. on the road leading Madison Prep 20-10 second quarter. I was very impressed with what I saw from Madison Prep early in the year against U High. But Booker T. Washington is getting it done at the moment, leading at 20-10, but still a long way to go. Iota leading Baker 13-12 at halftime. Baker was a 30 seed and went on the road and won last week. So they're trying to pull yet another upset, but getting a chance to do so at home tonight. Amy, defending champion in 2A, leading Welsh 6-0. Last we had was a first quarter score there. Let's see what else we've got here in terms of some of these games that are ongoing. I think that pretty much covers all of our locals on the non-select side. We'll see if there are any updates that have come across since we last gave it to you. Of course, you get all of the scores on our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard at CrescentCitySports.com. No better place to get all of your scores on this Friday night. Brother Martin scoring just before the half. They take a 17-7 lead into the locker room against Scotlandville. And now an update from Baton Rouge, second quarter. Catholic leading St. Paul's 14-3. That's St. Paul's Holy Cross game. I saw the highlights of that one last week. We were talking about it during our broadcast.
3 safeties.
3 safeties and a field goal to win 9-7. That is strange.
Real strange.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I think there were a couple of bad snaps on a punt.
It was one block punt, I believe, out of the end zone, and then 2 sacks. Two sacks in the end, and both sacks came by the same guy. Bell Chase, we forgot to mention him, trailing Brobridge in 4A in the second round, 13-0. I believe that's an 11-6 game, and the winner of that one, if things hold up, would face Carr next week. So that's an update on where we are. I don't see anything else is new. Oh, we got an update now from Lafayette. Second quarter, St. Thomas More leading Evangel 28-14.
I remember Evangel coming down in class this year, playing in Division II, whereas they've been for the past 5 years in Division I.
So teams back out warming up, waiting on the 3-minute warm-up to begin here. I'm not sure what the delay is, but the teams are on the field. They've been 3 minutes on the clock, and we haven't gotten a warm-up period started yet. So what do you think these two head coaches talked about? It's it's differing situations, obviously, but you've still got 24 minutes of football to play.
No doubt. And look, been there, done both of them. Been up on somebody, and I've been, being hammered at halftime too. Like I said, Dane Chapanche will go into that locker room or went into that locker room, and there's no ripping that needs to be done. He's got to bring them back mentally and emotionally, or maybe not in that order, maybe emotionally and then mentally. Okay, because what you're trying to do now is you've got to get something out of them in the next 24 minutes with a daunting task, knowing that you're kicking the ball off to De La Salle, who gets it with the kickoff. So let's get their mind right. Let's bring some emotion back to what we're doing. Let's talk about playing 0-0 every snap, and let's try to find the things with my staff that are working, that aren't working, narrow and whittle it down, and let's just try to get something going that's positive. Talk about the things you need to do immediately within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the football game. A, let's get a 3 and out and a punt. B, let's put together 2 to 3 first downs and come away with something on the board. So what does Ryan Manali say to his guys? Well, his guys sitting there up 38-0. They've had a pretty good time of it tonight so far. Complacency is something that he's got to battle. So he might go in and rip a little bit to try to get their eyes back focused on what they've got to do, play it like 0-0. Let's come out, and what do we have to do in the first 2 to 3 minutes of this second half? First thing, let's get the football and put some points on the board and score, and take every bit of emotion that happened in the other locker room away from them immediately.
Right. If you can get a score here on the opening drive, you start thinking about getting starters out of the game at that point and trying to give yourself. I know you've had a 15-day break, but you're looking at a huge semifinal game. We talk about facing teams for the third consecutive year. They're staring a third consecutive meeting with you high in the face next Friday night.
You would think logic would say that if we could get a score on the board, especially if it's a touchdown and we're up that amount of points. But I have to feel the situation with the other team. What is their emotion? How hard are they continuing to play? That sort of thing. Because, like you said, you got 2 quarters still left to play, 24 minutes, and a lot of stuff can happen. And look, this isn't the same Teurlings offense that we have heard about all year long, who has come in to this game scoring 31.4 points a game.
No doubt. By the way, last night's finals, I guess we should have mentioned some of those. Sterlington over Kaplan 35-24. West Monroe over Captain Shreve 38-21. Union Parish on the road beat Caldwell Parish 38-21. McDonough 35 here beat Lake Charles College Prep 22-14. And it was Oberlin over Gaydon in 1A by the score of 42-0.
Gaydon, the duck capital of the world. Have you ever been there?
I can safely say I haven't. We're in the duck season, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And they are hunting ducks in Gaydon.
Maybe that's why that game was played on a Thursday night.
I'm telling you, there you go.
May not have been able to interfere with duck season. Maybe they wanted to get it done on a Thursday night. All right, here we go. Teurlings to kick it off. De La Salle's got 10 men within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. I'm looking for the onside kick. Now they'll peel a couple off. And it's a short kick, and it will bound, and this will go out of bounds. Yeah, it'll be out of bounds, and De La Salle will play it at the 35-yard line.
Again, you got a choice. Ball goes out of bounds. You can back it up, kick it over again, or you can take it at the 35-yard line. So, I mean, we'll see what type of speeches these two guys gave to their teams, Ryan Manali of De La Salle and Dane Chapanche of Teurlings, and see if Teurlings has come out with some renewed vigor in this second half, and see if De La Salle can maintain their momentum that they had from the first half.
First and 10. Cavaliers. Ball at their own 35.
And I would imagine as well here, if you're De La Salle, you want to bleed the clock at every opportunity. You're trying to get the 24 minutes remaining run off as best as possible.
That, and you want to take any spark away from Teurlings that you can. The proverbial steak.
Milford in the first half threw for 134 yards. We'll give it away on first down. This is Johnson on the carry. We'll get a couple.
Nice job by number 23, Van Doan, right there. First time we're calling his name tonight as a linebacker, making a tackle on the counter right there.
Johnson in the first half, 15 carries for 111 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
I'm impressed with him. He's, like I said, he's got that burst you need. He can run in the open field and put a move on you, and he can duck his shoulder and run you over. He's a load to bring down.
Milford checks out, so I guess we'll see some Wildcat here.
There you go. You've got Wildcat. Look for the counter play. Quarterback counter. There it is.
And still on his feet and room to run, and he could go the distance. 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Montrell Johnson. There are no flags. 63 yards.
He ran over a defender right in the hole. It was quarterback counter, what we've seen earlier tonight. He gets right in the hole. A white jersey, didn't quite get the number. Maybe you can see it on the replay. Steps right in there and makes a hit on him. And as I said, Johnson can run with power. He ducks his shoulder and lowers his shoulder and just runs over a Teurlings defender in the hole and then sprints on and runs away from everybody. And he shows you his speed in his open field for another De La Salle touchdown. That will take the spark out of your eyes right there.
To make it 45-0. And that is good. 2 plays, 65 yards. It took just 54 seconds. And I was about to say, Wade, that Johnson had kind of grinded it out in the first half. Not a lot of big plays. He had runs of 14, 17, 16, 12, but nothing over 20, and then bang. 63 yards to the house.
Well, those are all clips that would be on a highlight tape right there. You're going to see the grinding out. You can see him running inside hard. You can see him running and setting plays up with his blockers, and then you can see his runaway speed on that particular long run right there for a touchdown. And he's going to get a ton of offers. I mean, he's garnered a few already. He'll pick up a ton more.
Yeah, we mentioned a few Power 5 offers, Colorado, Tennessee, Virginia. You figure those are going to continue to pile up. This kickoff will go into the end zone for a touchback, so Teurlings will open at the 20. Yeah, we're talking about these two teams. Saw some pretty good alumni representation of these two teams last night in Strawberry Stadium. Of course, Julian Gums was the starting quarterback on De La Salle's team that reached the title game 2 years ago. He's a running back at Nichols. And Cole Kelly, who was the quarterback on Teurlings' team several years back, one of the two quarterbacks playing at Southeastern. It was actually Kelly who fumbled the ball late in the game that allowed for that big stop in the final moments as Nichols prevailed 28-27. Our congratulations to Tim Rebo and the Nichols Colonels for another Southland Conference championship, and now they will make a third consecutive trip to the FCS playoffs. They'll find out where they're headed, hopefully at home on Sunday.
Well, we watched Cole Kelly a couple of years ago right here light up these De La Salle Cavaliers in a playoff game. He is a fine quarterback, and I'm sure he'll recover from that miscue last night. Hopefully they'll get into the bracket for the playoffs.
Got an injured player over on the near side here. It's going to be 3rd down and 10. Take a look at the injured Cavalier.
They're fooling with his elbow, it looks like. Forearm area.
I did not see the injured player was there.
Well, with those jerseys,
he got a hard time.
It's kind of hard saying.
See him on the near side when they get out. When they get out inside the hash marks. Like the player was just running off the field there, Wade, and all of a sudden went down. I don't know if he took a bad step.
I think there was something jumped out of the two, reached up and grabbed him.
Well, you hope it's nothing serious, but when you see a player down for that length of time,
I hope it's two things, nothing serious, and I hope it was.
Watch here, Wade. Watch him running off the field.
Wasn't something on the turf that made him do that.
You hope that's not the case either. Now he's going to walk off on his own, and that's That's a good sign. That is Jude Milford.
But he's holding his shoulder and his arm area. It had nothing to do with his lower leg. I think as he was running off,
he just tripped and then maybe hurt something.
Or he just felt so much pain in that particular extremity.
Or do you think
he just sat down?
Do you think he was already hurting and just went to get out of the play?
I think he was already trying to get off the field and he just couldn't do it. So he falls down, maybe to stop the play.
Maybe his thumb. So maybe what they're looking at on the side now. They're working on the near side in front of us. On 3rd and 10, slant is caught for a first down, and Teurlings will move the chains.
Nicely thrown ball right there by Sammy LeBlanc. That's the Sammy LeBlanc that I have heard about all this year throwing the football. He catches the ball, gets rid of it real fast. Very nice route by the receiver out there, getting inside position on the slant route. The ball was delivered on time.
I think I may have been Chavis on the catch there. So from the 32. Caught, and then they made a couple of men miss, and down the sidelines. That was Noah Fontenot for the first down and then some.
Again, off a play-action pass, Sammy LeBlanc hits Noah Fontenot on the stop route right there off the boundary, breaks the tackle, picks up another Teurlings first down. This is the type of movement that they talked about at halftime to help get them some life.
Screen pass and well defended, as that was thrown to Spring, but maybe a gain of 1 on a play.
Ephraim Scott out there. They've tried to screen Ephraim Scott 2 or 3 times tonight, but he smells out the screen, retraces his steps like a good defensive lineman's supposed to do, and runs the screen down from behind.
And we have breaking news, Wade. This is the first time tonight Teurlings has crossed the 50-yard line.
There we go. Getting something going. That's what they talked about at halftime.
That nearly took him back on the other side of the 50 as Spring is brought down for a loss of 3.
And Jamarian Peterson, a fine defensive end in the backfield, has been camped there all night, brings Spring down in the backfield, no place to go. They just can't run the ball, Lenny. They can't get any type of creases, movement, outside or inside against the front 7 of De La Salle.
We mentioned -7 rushing yards at halftime, and they've run it already 3 times on this drive for -3. So they still can't get anything going. They've done a little bit through the air, and they'll try that again here on 3rd and long. But that was caught by Guy, but waiting for him was a Cavalier defender. That was Jude Milford back in the game.
Put a lick on him. Mike linebacker stepped right up after he caught the ball, buried his shoulder into him, and drove him down into the turf. I like that. That's a nice hard hit.
So on 4th and 9, and again, in a 45-0 game, I think your punter can probably take the rest of the night off at this point, as long as you're trying.
Yeah, I mean, if it's across the 50, it's 4-down territory for you, no doubt.
And it looks like Teurlings will call a timeout here with 7:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Gives us a chance to remind you, Wade, that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by your favorite restaurant, Ye Olde College Inn and Rockin' Bowl.
Did I not send you a picture the other night?
You did send me a picture.
And you know what I had for dinner that night?
You didn't send me a picture of the plate, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just saw.
Because it didn't take long for me to inhale it.
Yeah, you wanted to eat as soon as it got to the table.
Exactly.
I understand. College Inn, a true New Orleans farm-to-table restaurant, open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner. So you can head there tonight after the game.
Had a great time.
Tomorrow.
Sat in there and watched the LSU game while we ate dinner.
There you go.
Television's around for everybody to watch.
Yeah,
food is outstanding.
It's also the home of the New Orleans Prep Sports Hall of Fame, which they've not inducted Wade into. And of course, you can head right next door to Rockin' Bowl after dinner and go check out some entertainment. So 4th and 9 after the timeout. The line to gain is the 35. Ball is at the 44. LeBlanc steps up, incomplete. Thought he had a man coming open on the slant, Coleman Bond. but it was well defended by the Cavaliers. Ashton Robinson dropped from his linebacker spot and got the deflection there.
The ball was, you can see it on the, he should have thrown the ball sooner is what I'm trying to say. You can see it on the replay right there. He waits for the receiver to get into the seam a little bit past 14 yards. That ball's got to be delivered between 12 and 14 yards, because if you let it continue on 16, 18, 20, then the linebacker's going to be able to carry you. He's going to step underneath the route, and the safety's going to be on top of you. That ball should have been picked right there by Ashton Robinson. Not a good throw by Sammy LeBlanc. Throw those verticals between 12 and 14 yards. That's when you've got the seam. That's when the linebacker is out of the play.
Byron Phillips for the carry.
Up the gut that time with Byron Phillips. It's like nothing on the play. But it'll be no play. It'll be a...
That's a holding penalty.
Let's see.
I'm sorry.
Where they spot the football there.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. That is the fifth holding penalty tonight on the Cavaliers. I don't believe there's been a holding penalty tonight on Teurlings. And look, I'm not judging. I'm just always talk to officials about making sure holding penalties balance themselves out.
Run it again on first down.
Teurlings back in their man coverage has now moved 8 people into the box to try to stop the run game. You know, sensing obviously that De La Salle is going to want to run the ball and try to run the clock for the rest of the football game. So they're going to try to get the extra player down in the box to stop the run, lining up man-to-man everywhere else across the field.
Yeah, it was a gain of 4 by Phillips, so now it's second down and 16. Two receivers to the bottom of your screen, one to the top. And timeout Ryan Manali before this one can get underway. Wait, let's take the opportunity to update some scores on our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard. Get them all at CrescentCitySports.com. 5-8 tonight, third quarter, Acadiana rolling past Walker 29-0. No surprise there. Second quarter, last we had Airline over East St. John 24-14. Third quarter now, Zachary leading Honville 14-12. Ruston over EA 14-13 at the half. Third quarter, Alexandria now 12-0 over Mandeville. Third quarter, Houghton and Como tied at 14. And third quarter, Covington leading Destrehan 7-0. In Division I, Rummel has now jumped out 21-8 over St. Aug. Second quarter last we had was Curtis over Jesuit 27-14, and now at half Catholic leading St. Paul's 14-3. Let's look at the Division II scores. See if we've got any new scores there. It looks like everything's the same. 28-14, St. Thomas More over Evangel. Oh, check that. St. Louis has now stretched the lead over Loyola Prep. 33-14, St. Louis, third quarter, and U High still leading Vanderbilt 21-0. Once again, it's Moore Phillips, and he will get about 5.
De La Salle's wearing out the counter play tonight. They're either running it with the halfback or running it with the quarterback out of Wildcat. They're running it right, they're running it left, and they're running the read zone off the counter backside, the counter read, where the quarterback's reading the backside defensive end to see if he's following the pulling tackle.
And this is stopping play. Is there
looks like a player? Yeah, player went down on the field. Can't see his number. Player from De La Salle.
Looks like it's 34, perhaps. Would be Vincent Varisti.
He's coming off the field. They're holding his left shoulder, it looks like.
So 4 wides here on third down and 11. Clock continues to tick under the 6-minute mark. This time it's a quarterback keeper, but Milford got it out to midfield, but short of the first down.
Milford pulls the ball at the counter read. I just finished talking about it. He reads the last guy on the line of scrimmage. He got a pull read right there. He pulls it and picks up 5 yards.
So it's 4th and 4 at midfield.
You know, Milford has done a great job with this De La Salle offense all year, coming in and managing it. You know, he got put in a rough situation early in the year.
Yeah, Fisher Rojas was going to be the starting quarterback this year, was injured in the spring. So at least he had the summer to kind of get ready for this. But
But I mean,
he's done a terrific job, no doubt about it.
Thrown into it as a sophomore, you know. So, you know, he's not a sophomore now. I mean, he's a sophomore by age, but he's got junior playing experience all this year because he's played a full year. 9 games. This would be his 10th. Remember, they had the bye earlier in the year. And he's done a nice job managing things for their offense, keeping them in good situations, not putting them in bad reads. When he has to read, he's been making the right reads, and then he's not putting the ball on the ground or giving the ball up on interceptions.
Well, De La Salle has faced some outstanding teams along the way this year. We saw them Easton in week 1, St. Charles Catholic week 3. They went to Lakeshore in week 5, played A-Meet here at Pan Am week 4. So some really tough games outside of district play. They rolled through district play without giving up a point. It's like they're picking up where they left off tonight. They had outscored their last 3 opponents by a combined 142-0. Taking a shot downfield on first down off the hands of the receiver and then nearly intercepted, as that was Terrell Blanco, the senior DB.
Well, he had
got a hand on it. It was very nearly caught, and it was very nearly picked.
He had a shot at, and also so did Untitled Chapter.
He did. It was off the hands of Chavis, the receiver.
Right. And it was off the hand of Chavis, again trying to hit the ball down the seam. And I just think they're throwing the seam route a little too late. Needs to be thrown a lot earlier.
So 2nd and 10. This time they'll go far side, and it's caught. I believe that was Coleman Bond. It was.
Coleman Bond out there runs a deep out route, moves the sticks. Very nice route. He breaks it off right at the sticks. The ball's delivered on time by LeBlanc. Great protection by the offensive line of Teurlings. Nice pitch and catch out there.
So from the 26, best running play we've probably seen tonight from Teurlings.
Got a little movement up front that time. Hits a crease.
In fact, get this, Wade. This is the first time they have gained more than 2 yards on a running play this entire game.
Ouch.
You know, running again. That may be enough for a first down.
You know, that spring just bounding it up in there. He's, you know, not a big guy, but he runs hard. Just hasn't had a lot of room tonight.
That is Terrio out there, by the way.
Oh, that's Will Terrio, number 83.
Which is interesting. I mean, you got all these little digit guys playing receiver, and then you got an 83 at running back instead of at wide receiver.
Well, you know what that is, huh? He's probably either wearing a jersey of his dad or somebody like that had played there earlier, and he's honored to wear his number.
And that is well defended on the pass play right there. As we're seeing some new guys cycling through here. That was Kyle Bro on the catch.
Trying to get some new jerseys out there, trying to get some energy going with some guys that weren't on the field earlier in the game. They're having little success. They move the sticks.
About 1.5 yards on that catch.
Well, the thing that's nice about it is they're getting some protection now from the offensive line to be able to get the ball out.
Room to run, but well defended after the Terrio is brought down. Give him about 8 yards, and they will call it a first down.
He's got a little pop, too. He's got a little speed, gets the ball out there on the edge, makes something happen.
And this is Terrio once again. We'll get about 5.
Terrio, not a big guy. He's a senior, but he runs with a lot of little shake. He gets out there, he keeps bouncing, and he has another pickup for 5 yards right there. We're seeing a nice little series put together by the Rebels.
2nd and 5. And That was better defended right there. Gain of about 2 as Terrio took a shot at the end of the play, though, and he is slow to get up.
He's slow to get up. They're bringing out the medical crew right there. He's holding his left ankle.
When we resume, it will be 3rd down and 3. So Terrio's got 25 yards rushing on this drive, Wade, and that is...
Well, they're running the ball a little bit better. They're getting some movement up front, and it's all played out in the in the 2.5 quarters that we've seen so far tonight is the dominance by the De La Salle defensive line against the offensive line of Teurlings. That's the reason why they have not run the ball tonight with any type of consistency.
Terrio will walk off looking to see if there are any updates on any of those games we were following. 3rd quarter now at Haas Memphis. John Curtis has stretched the lead on Jesuit to 34-14. St. Aug has scored, gone for 2, made it. It's now 21-16 Rummel, 3rd quarter. Remember, that's 1-8, okay? But remember when they played in the regular season, it was 16-12, and Rummel was life and death. St. Aug got 2 returns for touchdowns in the first 29 seconds, and Rummel had to come from behind the entire night, and finally got the go-ahead touchdown in the 4th quarter.
Well, I mean, that's the Catholic League, and when you've got to face teams again within a couple of weeks, it's tough to prepare for on both sides.
So 3rd down and 3 at the 47. New back in the game, and that will be right at the 1st down sticks. We don't have a 21.
Oh my goodness. We've got
Tanner Brinkman, apparently, who's listed as 26 on our roster.
And I've got him listed as 43.
There you go.
So
anyhow, give him the 1st down.
All right, there you go. So it's Tanner Brinkman is number 21, new running back. He's a senior.
Pass is caught.
You got to see the safety there.
Yeah.
You can't throw the post right into the safety.
But one of 2 things is
right. Well, one of 2. He makes the play. One of 2 things is going to happen. All right. 3 things. The guy's going to catch the ball and he's going to get decapitated. All right. Or he's going to catch the ball and duck under the decapitation right there, or the ball's going to get picked. Can't throw the ball into the safety like that. You got to work the safety off on the post route.
You're sounding like Woody Hayes right now. Right? What was that? 3 things can happen in a passing game and 2 of them are bad.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm just saying, De La Salle still sitting in a 2-high secondary. You run the post into the split safeties. I got it. You can hit it in between the seams. You try to draw one of the safeties out of there so you can throw the post. You just can't throw the post right into the safety, especially in a 2-high safety. You've got to do something with one of the safeties.
First time tonight, Teurlings is in the red zone. Give it away on 1st down, and that didn't pick up the number on that one down on the far end. No, that's Spring once again back in the game. Okay, Spring 28, like a 38 in there. We don't have a 38, so that couldn't be the case.
Now we've got
call it about 6.
We've got some new defensive linemen in there for De La Salle also, so they might have made some substitutions as we're closing out the end of the 3rd quarter to be able to get those guys some playing time here in the playoffs. A little experience for some of the younger players.
These guys are going to be your regulars perhaps next year. You look at this. You look at the regular defensive line. You got a couple of seniors, a couple of juniors, or 3 juniors in there. Well, so you rotate some guys through, but you're losing it. You're going to lose Scott and you're going to lose Durkee.
The guy that's back though is that impressive Jamarian Peterson, number 7. I'm sure he's going to get some offers.
This will be the final play of the quarter, and it is caught for a touchdown. So Teurlings gets on the board on the final play of the quarter, and it was Chavis. No, check that. It was that's 4, I believe. Yeah, that's Bond on the catch. 6 yards.
They're going to go for 2. Why not? At this stage of the game.
14-play, 87-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 49 seconds. Go for two. You got trips to the top of your screen. Well, actually, two receivers, but the running back is lined up to the left side there. Everything a little bit tighter too. So you do have a tight end and a slot back. Going to roll back this way, try to go near side, incomplete.
Trying to run bootleg, dragging one of the receivers back across the formation and trying to slip number 15, Fontenot, out into the flat, but it was well covered by De La Salle.
That's the end of the third quarter. 12 minutes to go in this one as De La Salle is 12 minutes away from a fourth consecutive trip to the semifinals. After three, De La Salle 45 and Teurlings 6. You're watching high school playoff football from Crescent City Sports. All right, so here we go. Start of the fourth quarter. Switch directions, and we kick off again. Onside kick try, and it's fielded by the Cavaliers at the 43-yard line.
Why not? Try to pull out all the stops. You know,
Hey.
you're down, by 40. So, at this stage of the game, you're just trying to get any type of life back into your system that you can. Who knows? You recover an onside kick, take the ball over right there, put another one on the scoreboard. Life comes back into the body. You know, steps, little steps right here. Try to get a 3 and out. It's going to be interesting to see if De La Salle comes back out with their battery, with their quarterback Milford and Johnson at running back, or are they going to play some other people?
Well, I see Phillips at running back at this point.
Right.
I think that's a new quarterback in the game as well.
We have number 12, Deontay LaBranche.
Branch taking over a quarterback as Phillips on the carry gets 5.
Phillips on the carry.
Deontay LaBranche also has spent some time this year as a running back. 5'8", 140 pounds sophomore.
Well, you remember when week 1, of course, we mentioned Phillips got hurt in the Jamboree. We didn't see him again until week 10. Then Johnson got hurt in the first series of that game against Easton. So we saw an awful lot of Patrick Martin for much of the year at running back. And
right. Correct.
Martin, 535 yards on the ground. Johnson came back 700 yards on the ground, 9 touchdowns. He's got 176 tonight. You would think his night may be done as Johnson is stuffed in the backfield.
Got a whole new offensive line in there too. Some guys ran through from St. Thomas More. You can see them in the backfield right here. Watch them run right completely through the De La Salle offensive line for the hit in the backfield. There's the tackle pulling and the guard pulling from the backside. Getting a lot of penetration right there was the defensive line, and it looked like that was David Bernard, number 65, on that tackle, getting a lot of penetration in the De La Salle backfield.
De La Salle will run this clock near 0 before they snap the football. 10.5 minutes to go.
As they should.
Quarterback keeps. Got a couple.
That was LaBranche again on the keep.
And the prudent play.
He was reading the backside in on the counter read, counter zone read.
It'll be 4th down and 8. You assume this to be a punting situation here.
Good 3 and out for the Rebel defense right there. That's what they need. A score, a 3 and out. Try to put something together here in the last 9:52 of this ball game.
Punt is away. Taken in at the 24. Bond looking to get some room to run. And is brought down at about the 34-yard line. And so Teurlings will begin there with 9:33 to play here in the fourth quarter. Chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gilsbar for more than half a century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines, and they're headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gilsbar can help your business, visit gilsbar.com. Our thanks to Hank Miltenberger and Gilsbar for their support of high school sports here at CrescentCitySports.com. Nothing doing there on first down.
Number 98, Cole Raymond on that tackle. A sophomore getting some playing time now as a backup on that De La Salle defensive line. Did a nice job getting some penetration in there and hitting the running back in the backfield for a loss.
It looks like they moved him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They gave him a gain of 3. Yeah,
gain
it looked
of 3.
like, yeah.
Yeah, gain of 3.
We're just so used to seeing that tonight.
Yeah, right.
That's a screen pass. It's well set up here to the running back, but credit the De La Salle defenders for escaping some blocks there and holding that to a loss of 3.
De La
Gain of 3, excuse me.
De La Salle schooled up real good on this screen game of Teurlings. They just haven't gotten that screen game going. Larkin right there, Larkin Spring was drifting out, getting set up right there, and De La Salle defenders just following him right out there.
2:55 left in the third quarter, Wade. Let's update this as that is going to be a first down. 2:55 left in the third quarter. St. Aug has taken a 22-21 lead on Rummel.
Everybody in the press box went, woo! Wow. There you go. I mean, you're playing somebody again in the Catholic League a few weeks after you had just played them. It's a tough thing to do.
First down coming this way. Pass is caught and room to run, and out to near the 35-yard line is Chavis.
Great throw right there by LeBlanc on the out route to Chavis. You can see Eddie Jagalard screaming at his second defense right there. He was screaming at his linebacker. He needed to get underneath that out route. He stopped on his way out there, running to the hips of the out, and just watched him catch the ball. And I can see the defensive coordinator from De La Salle all over his player, trying to teach about what he did wrong.
From the 35. That is incomplete.
Ball delivered a little bit late right there on that little turnout route over on the boundary. De La Salle defender can't get his number because he's so far away with those type of jerseys. I'm trying to look through my binoculars. Number 6 had a bead on that and almost picked that off.
Roderick Williams the third.
Roderick Williams. Roderick Williams the third.
That is Brinkman, I believe, on the carry. That was Brinkman, 21. He'll get a couple on the play. Make it a gain of 1. It's going to be 3rd and 9, the 34-yard line. Looked like maybe he got moved back.
Teurlings going empty again.
And a whistle and timeout, I believe, De La Salle.
No, there's a flag on the play. I think somebody lined up in the neutral zone.
Oh,
maybe.
okay. If you line up, of course, in high school, it's dead. You don't have to necessarily make contact. You just got to be lined up. across and go, or break the
plane of the
break
ball.
the plane of the So 3rd and 4 at the 29. LeBlanc throws, caught, first down. That was Coleman Bond.
Coleman Bond right there runs that post route into the safety again. But the thing that happened right there is Samuel LeBlanc got rid of the ball quicker. So it took the safety out of the play, hit the receiver before he ran into a headache situation, and it was a nice throw and catch by Samuel LeBlanc, Coleman Bond.
Little swing pass. That's Bond once again out inside the 10-yard line. See where they spot it. Looks like it'll be right at the 10, actually.
Gain of 5.
These are the things that they've done all year. Gotten the ball into positions where they're getting it out of their hands quick, getting it to their receivers out of the backfield. I would like to see them do this a lot earlier in the ball game. They just could not establish the running game.
Thrown out in a flat, and that was caught by the tight end Noah Fontenot. And
Deontay LaBranche was all over that.
Yeah, did we get a flag at the end of the play for a late hit? I believe we did. Yeah, it's back sitting at the 20-yard line. Yeah. See where this gets marked off, where forward progress was, and then it's going to get marked half the distance to the goal line. Put it at the 3, so give them a gain of 4, and then we're going to make it first down and goal. The ball at the 3-yard line.
I think throwing the receiver down at the end as the whistle was being blown is what was the draw for the late penalty or the late hit right there, the personal foul. A little too much extracurricular.
And that is caught far side, touchdown. That may have been Vance Walker, number 12, I believe, on that one. Yeah, 12. Vance Walker on the catch for the 3-yard score.
It's the bubble route out in the flat. He out leverages the defender and beats him to the corner pylon right there for a nice touchdown. Nice drive by Teurlings. Here's a good look at it again. There's the bubble by the number 2 receiver. Just out leverages the guy in the dark jersey, the defender from De La Salle. Gets to the corner of the end zone for touchdown.
Kick is good. First time we've seen Judice on a placement try tonight. They went for 2 the first time.
All right, he's got a kick of 52 yards earlier this year.
All right, he has not missed in 45 tries on extra points. How many high school kickers can say that?
All right, and he's 10 of 12 on his field goals this season, and like I said, the longest being 52 yards.
Let's see if we can check in on what has happened. It looks like Rummel may have gone back ahead in that game. I want to confirm that. Donovan Kaufman on offense with a 62-yard touchdown run. Remember, we saw a little bit of that against John Curtis.
Yes, we did.
And Rummel goes up 28-22 with 2:30 left in the third quarter. By the way, that game is on as part of Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report, airing live tonight on Nash Icon 106.1 FM in the New Orleans area. Good one going on in North Louisiana tonight. Calvary Baptist 40, Ouachita Christian 33.
Wow, a lot of points.
Still in the third quarter. Here's your onside kick. It is loose, and it is recovered by Teurlings, it looks like. And we're going to get a flag. We're going to get a flag on this side. I think it's going to be on the De La Salle bench because the official was trying to come in, and it was... Let's see. The flag came out as soon as the official ran into one of the De La Salle coaches here on the near side. It may be just a sideline warning. Let's see.
Ball went 10 yards, as you can see right there on the replay. I think that's perfect execution and a very nice kick by the Teurlings kicker, Ian Giudice.
Brother Martin has now extended their lead, by the way, over Scotlandville to 31-7. So it is looking more and more like the Crusaders are on to the semifinals, but are they going to be at home against St. Aug, or are they going to be heading across town to Joe Yenny to take on Rummel? In either case, it's a rematch.
Ryman Alley extremely upset on the action of the
I think there was some question as to whether, maybe we get one more look at the onside kick. I think there was some question as to whether there was contact made before the ball got there. Yeah.
The ball definitely right. The ball definitely went 10 yards. The rule says you cannot make contact before the ball was there. And the next thing you can't do is you can't lead with your helmet on the block on a unprotected receiver like that. So there could be some questions with that. As far as the ball placement, that sort of thing. On our replay, it looked like the ball definitely went 10 yards. Ryman Alley's down there giving them the, looks like he's talking about somebody leading with their helmet on the hit before the ball goes 10 yards.
I guess the question would be this. Even if the ball is going 10 yards, can you make contact with a
receiver
before he catches the ball?
No, he's got to have the opportunity to catch the ball.
You see Ryan Manali,
and that's what he's talking about. He's talking about leading with the helmet, that he didn't give the receiver the opportunity to catch the football.
That's Jeff Bryant, our referee tonight from the Hammond Association. You get into the playoffs, and it's all crews from out of town. Even if you got two teams playing for New Orleans, and like for instance St. Aug and Rummel tonight, or Jesuit and John Curtis,
right,
who would have officials from, using from the same association, you still go with outside officials.
Well, and they're all assigned now by the association in the commissioner's office. Years ago, he had a few hiccups as the two coaches would have to decide on what association they wanted to use, and if one decided not to use it, then the commissioner's office would come down and set the crew.
Let's update some scores here. 5A, Acadiana rolling past Walker, 42-0 third quarter. Airline over East St. John, 24-21 third quarter. Zachary and Hanville in a good one, 21-19 Zachary fourth quarter. Ruston over East Ascension, 21-13 in the fourth. Again, that's a 20 against a 4. Alexandria at Mandeville leading 12-0 in third quarter as we resume action. They take a shot down the field on first down, and that is incomplete.
Trying to take that big shot downfield on the go route. Nice coverage by De La Salle. Corner out there trying to get you his number. Just can't see with the light being dim over there and the dark jerseys. That looks like that was number 6, maybe Roderick Williams on the coverage.
In one of those other games where the higher seed had to travel tonight, by the way, fourth quarter, Destrehan, the team we saw last week, has rallied to take a 17-7 lead over Covington.
After that scoring fest last week, they only scored 17 points so far tonight.
What a catch down the seam that time by Chavis. Put it at the 17, make it the 18-yard line.
Nice throw by Samuel LeBlanc again on the post route right there. And Chavis makes a nice catch, landing hard on his rump as he's falling backwards, catching that football. Puts him in scoring position down inside the red zone.
Going back shoulder and incomplete. I think that might have been Fontenot out there, the big tight end.
That was the big tight end, Fontenot. You are correct. Running the stop route. Samuel LeBlanc trying to throw it on his back shoulder. Just kind of overshot it a little high right there. Nice protection by the Teurlings offensive line. Again, De La Salle having a lot of their backups in now, getting some of those guys some playoff experience.
On second down. Stepping up, throwing, caught, and into the end zone, touchdown. Chavis just split a couple of defenders right there. Check that. It was Guy, 13.
It was Julian Guy, number 13.
13. There it was.
He came in tonight with 14 receptions, 420 yards, and 5 touchdowns, so he'll add up another touchdown to those numbers. as we're at the 4:46 mark in the fourth quarter.
That's 2 touchdowns now in 39 seconds for Teurlings after the onside kick recovery.
I can pretty much guarantee you there's another onside kick coming.
They're going to go for 2 first. Now the throwback is incomplete, intended for Fontenot, and it will be no good. 45-19 remains your score with 4:46 remaining, and we'll wait for the onside kick.
No good. 45.
Well, you can guarantee they're drawing up their onside kick again, and over here on the De La Salle sideline, you can bet they're talking to their hands team about making sure you catch this football. Don't let it pop up into the air. And if it does, make sure it pops up over your head so it'll go to the person behind you to be able to call off and call you off the ball and catch it. Should be a me-you call if the ball is popped into the air. Looks like they're setting up again to the Teurlings' right-hand side. That's where they've had success previously on their onside kicks tonight.
And they will go that way. And this ball is loose, and it's finally taken in by the Cavaliers at the 41-yard line. And yeah, it looks like De La Salle playing and a man was hit early.
And here's the deal, okay? And I don't know if this is what has happened on the previous onside kick, but you have a Teurlings Catholic coverage person running down there and taking a physical hit at a De La Salle receiver, okay? The ball barely got to the 50-yard line. They have changed the rules on onside kicks, okay? You can't just take somebody out inside that neutral zone area on a free kick. And that's what basically is kind of happening right here. And that's kind of why Ryan Manali is extremely perturbed, because it's kind of a hard shot on one of his guys.
And they're calling a personal foul on De La Salle.
Well, what happened was De La Salle guy took the shot, and he has had enough of it.
Yeah.
So he fought back, and he got flagged for it.
So it's going to move things back to the 26-yard line. And we've got our first big upset of the evening. Country Day on the road, the 8th seed goes and defeats number 1 seed Vermilion Catholic 21-19.
Mr. Ibieta must have got hot in the second half.
Joe Chango will be having a practice on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, he will.
Looks like it would be Country Day at this point against Calvary Baptist, but again, that Calvary Baptist Washita Christian game has been back and forth. Last we heard, I believe it was 40-33, and that's Country Day's going to have to travel. So
I'm sure Joe Chango will be happy to get on a bus and go anywhere.
Be happy to make the trip to North Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Either way.
Absolutely.
And see, before we can get this going, we've got a substitution violation on the defense. I don't know if they lined up with 12. So it'll be first down and 5, the ball at the 31-yard line. We've been stuck at 4:46 for a while here, Wade.
Yeah, for about 10 minutes.
This is Phillips out past the 40, still on his feet, midfield, out to the 44-yard line, and a flag behind the play. And let's see. Flag is down at the 41-yard line.
Phillips on the carry.
It's a dead ball on sportsmanlike conduct against Teurlings.
Well, they're going to tack it on to the end of the run right there. Nice job by Phillips. He busts it into the secondary. Look at the replay there. You just saw it on your replay right there. The nice move was deep in the secondary where he gave a nice little head and shoulder fake right there and made a Teurlings defender miss him. Boy, I tell you what, he's got some talent too.
Check out, it's a gain of 25 on the play.
You know, he's a junior running back. Johnson's a junior running back.
There are some nice underclassmen on this De La Salle team. This is going to be a team that's going to be very good again next year.
We haven't seen Patrick Martin, the freshman, who got a lot of rushes this year, you know, who came on after the first game of the season. We didn't get to see him tonight. I don't know if he might be out with an injury, but they've got some nice balance in the backfield.
Clock continues to run. They'll let this play clock run as far down as they can. It's at 10. Now at 4, 3. They'll snap it at 2. And they'll give it away. Once again, that is Byron Phillips on the carry, and he will get it out to about the 25-yard line. In a perfect world here, Wade, you get about 2 more first downs and you're in victory formation.
In a perfect world. You know, but there's also something you got to teach your players on the other side of the field. You got 2 timeouts, and even though you're getting beat pretty badly, you want to show them that you're not going to give up. So you're going to call those timeouts, at least I would, okay? And make them know that we're going to battle all the way to the end. It's about an attitude.
Calvary has now stretched that lead over OCS to 47-33.
It's getting a little chippy out there. We've
Yeah,
got some guys on both sides kind of popping off at each other. Officials need to get this under wraps real fast, or something's going to happen that's going to be ugly.
Phillips will get about 1 on a play. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Timeout.
I think the Teurlings coaches also see some of their guys getting a little chippy out there, so they're calling them over and telling them, hey, you know, even though we're down in this deal, we're going to keep playing hard, but we're going to play hard with class.
They're going to the 4th quarter now with Joe Yenny. Rummel and St. Aug tied 28 apiece.
And I'm sure the same thing, as I said, is being said over here in this De La Salle huddle. They're going to say we're going to continue playing hard, but let's make sure that we do things the right way and do it with class. We don't want things to get out of control right here with 3:09 left on the clock, and that's going to fall on the officials to make sure that they keep control out there. Nobody likes getting beaten bad, and nobody likes getting shoved in the face. So the officials are going to have to make sure they keep a handle on these 2 teams. So, like I said, it doesn't get too chippy.
So 3rd down, 5. Ball at the 24-yard line. And flags.
I think Teurlings impedes the neutral zone there.
Yep, and let's see, is this enough for a first down? Yes, it is.
Outside the defense.
So put the ball at the 19-yard line, and it is a first down for De La Salle. Only bad with all of these flags, the clock is stopped. 3:09 to play. So some good ones going on all around the area. And keeper on first down, that was LaBranch, and he will lose about 2. Then it'll be 2nd down and 12 at the 21. And
I think at this point things could possibly be kneeled out.
I don't know. That's 2nd down. They've still got Now they need to make one more first down here. So the clock is moving. It'll get to right at the 2-minute mark when this one is snapped. Actually, it went a little early. They'll give it away to Phillips, who will take it out back inside the 20. A late flag comes in. Ball at the 16-yard line. If this is against the defense, then I think you're in a position to kneel it out. Let's see.
That should be a personal foul face mask. So they're going to tack 15 on to the end of the run. And that should give a first down inside the 10-yard line.
And if it is indeed a first down, it's right at it. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if they move the mark. Yeah, they're going to drop it, put it first and goal at the 9 with 1:56 to play. The clock is moving. So, and how about this? Fisher Rojas is going in at quarterback.
There we go. Hadn't played all year, got hurt in spring. Giving him a chance to get on the field, have a taste of some sort of playoff victory to kneel the ball out.
And they did something right in this is great what they're doing here, giving him a chance to get back out there. Again, you talked about the injury in spring. You know, Rojas, a senior,
it's
getting a chance to get out there.
He gets a taste of playoff victory in his mouth, and he's a senior, and he's put 4 years into a program that he helped be a part of and build.
Kneel it again. Now the good news for him, he's getting in there. He doesn't lose all of these yardage. These all get credited as team rushes now. They changed the scoring rules on that a few years ago to keep from penalizing guys who it's still done. Now in the NFL, it's still that way. Drew Brees, and he kneels it out. He gets credit for minus yardage.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And that's going to do it. That was a perfect end to pretty close to a perfect night for De La Salle. As the final seconds will run off on this one, your final score will be De La Salle 45, Teurlings Catholic 19, and it looks like we will have De La Salle and U High next Friday night here in New Orleans. The early indications that I've gotten, Wade, is that game's going to be played at Yeoman Stadium, but we'll have to wait for the official word on that.
Well, the lighting will definitely be better at Yeoman Stadium.
It will definitely be better.
Somebody needs to talk to Ryan Manali about wearing different jerseys.
But look, after you perform like that in these jerseys, I don't know if it's going to happen.
He's not going to wash them either.
Right, exactly. Final thoughts on this one, Wade, and what was really a dominating first 25 minutes of football for De La Salle this evening.
Well, the bye definitely helped De La Salle, helped get them well. There was no, lackadaisical play from the start of the game with the sky kick recovered to set up their first points of the game. And this just isn't the same Teurling team that I had heard about all year long. The offensive, dynamite that I had heard coming in here, they just couldn't get things clicking tonight, but you've got to credit a really good De La Salle defense for that.
Let's give you one more update before we go off the air. St. August just taken a 34-28 lead over Rummel in the fourth quarter at Yenny. We've already had one upset this evening with the 1 seed falling in Division 4. And kudos to Country Day for pulling off the upset on the road. Let's see if that holds up. Again, tune in to Nash Icon 106.1 for that one. Thank you, Wade. Thanks to Chip Merritt, our producer this evening. Our thanks to Todd Whittington. We will have a game for you next Friday night, so just stay with us. Details to come on exactly where we will be, when it will be, where we will be, the whole 9 yards for that. We will have more playoff football for you next Friday night. Once again, your final here from Pan American Stadium, De La Salle 45 and Teurlings 19. For all of them, I'm Lenny Van Gilder. Until next time, so long, everybody.